I'm going to cut through all this crap.
Ignoring Piers Morgan won't silence the truth he's speaking. That's right. Just a few hours back, Piers Morgan spilled the beans on the royals mentioned in Omid Scobie's book, who apparently had racist remarks about Prince Archie's skin color. Yep, we are still talking about facial complexions.
I'm going to tell you the names of the two senior royals who are named in that Dutch version of the book.
Specifically naming the individuals, Piers threw their names out to the general public, sending the British media into a frenzy. Take a look. The two royals who were tapped in Omid Scobie's book for fussing about Prince Archie's skin tone lost their cool last night when Piers Morgan blew the beans on them. Or so it seems.
And neither have I ever said it in an interview, but you sort of have to sit back and watch these things play out.
On his talk show, Morgan did not merely mention names. Instead, he broadcasted it to his social media posse, which consists of 8.7 million people. On top of that, as if that wasn't enough drama, a Dutch edition of Scobie's book was released with the names of the royal couple, but was quickly pulled from distribution when some questionable translation error excuse was suggested. Sure, you guys, let's blame the translators now. Now, before Piers went all out, these VIP royals were still hiding their identities. He asserts that he was merely reacting to the chaos that was made by Harry and Meghan, who threw the race card without providing any context or allowing anyone to explain themselves.
I don't believe there was.
In their ever so polite manner, the royal family expressed concern about the charges, but they also subtly conveyed the possibility that their recollections may be a little hazy. Of course, due to Scobie's poisonous royal tell-all, this entire controversy has once again been brought to the forefront of public attention. He claims that Meghan revealed the information to King Charles in letters, revealing that not one but two high-ranking royals were involved in the controversy surrounding the race match. Meanwhile, Morgan is defending his shocking move by stating that it is time for the UK royals to engage in a conversation about this royal farrago that is open and free of all restrictions.
Because frankly, if Dutch people wandering into a bookshop can pick it up and see these names, then you, British people here, who actually pay for the British royal family, you're entitled to know too.
According to Morgan, because I don't believe any racist comments were ever made by any of the royal family, and until there is actual evidence of those comments being made, I will never believe it. And because it's Morgan we are talking about, he didn't hold back and expressed. But now we can start the process of finding out if they ever got uttered, what the context was, and whether there was any racial intent at all. Like I say, I don't believe there was. The royals who are named in this book are King Charles III and Princess Kate Middleton, wife of Prince William, Harry's older brother.
The royals who are named in this book are King Charles and Catherine, Princess of Wales.
So, it should come as no surprise that the shocking action taken by Piers Morgan is most certainly causing Buckingham Palace a headache on a royal scale. You see, they were presumably keeping their fingers crossed, hoping that the Scobie saga would remain restricted to the world of internet rumors and whispers discussed on social media. But why are we even pointing all 10 fingers at Morgan? Think about it. To tell you the truth, if people in the Netherlands who are casually walking into a bookstore are able to grab a copy and recognize these alleged names, then the British people who are footing the cost for the royal family have every right to know as well. And that is exactly what Piers Morgan is trying to say. Does that make sense? And despite the fact that Scobie was playing coy due to the libel rules of the United Kingdom, he did spill the beans in his book by implying the names of the two main players in this royal drama. So basically, a literal mess had already been made way before Morgan took it to his social media. Of course, he is currently under a lot of pressure as a result of a translation error that occurred in Dutch. Not to forget, an increasing amount of pressure is being put on Scobie to reveal the details of how a second royal was brought into the issue. So there's that.
It's frustrating that now what's going on in the Netherlands with the book that was obviously immediately rescinded and is now being reprinted has happened, and I'm glad to hear so. But for me, I can only talk about the English version of the book.
Right now, it is a guessing game for the royal racist because Meghan and Harry have kept the name of the person a secret. making it into a mystery. Although a smooth maneuver was made by Scobie and his Dutch publishers, who claimed that the problem was caused by a translation error.
I had never submitted a book that had their names in it, so...
Surprisingly, though, it was discovered that a second name had been accidentally left out of the Dutch version, which was written 200 pages later and included an entire phrase, this time, "What is happening?" Then again, this already complicated network was further complicated by the fact that Scobie's legal limits regarding the prohibition of naming names were conveniently ignored in the Dutch edition. So, if you try and connect the dots, it appears that this royal soap opera is not even close to completing its final episode, because something else is also happening. Remember when Meghan Markle herself came forward and disclosed the alleged discriminatory conversation that took place within the royal family? Yes, that happened. Now, if you need help jogging that memory of yours, according to Harry, one of the most telling parts, and the saddest parts, I guess, was over 70 female members of parliament, both Conservative and Labour, came out and called out the colonial undertones of articles and headlines written about Meghan. Yet no one from my family ever said anything. That hurts. During her interview with Oprah, Meghan said that someone in the royal family was concerned about the skin tone of her unborn child, Archie, while she was pregnant. Like, seriously? Who even thinks about that stuff? Well, as shocking as it is, it did happen.
Concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What?
Despite this, Meghan did not mention any names, but in an attempt to appear cool, she claimed that it would be too costly for them. Meanwhile, further complicating matters is the fact that the couple discovered that Archie would not be receiving security or an official title at the same time that they obtained the information on the skin tone. When asked about another conversation that took place, Meghan remained tight-lipped, and Harry said things like, "Yeah, it was awkward and I'm not talking about it," etc.
That conversation I'm never going to share.
But Harry is not quite finished. During the time that parliamentarians were criticizing the media for having colonial undertones in their coverage of Meghan, Harry was criticizing the royal family for doing little to support her. He's basically said, "Come on, fam. There were plenty of chances for you to show some support." Makes sense. So now, considering everything that Morgan and Scobie have said, it would not come as a surprise if everything comes out to be true. And, while all that is happening, let's also take a look at where fans stand in all of this. According to a social media user who appeared to be as shocked as we are, I remember this. I also think it was the last public statement made about them till Charles made his perfect speech about them being overseas. He beheaded them beautifully. 2022 with great flourish, no blood, just shoved them overseas. Meanwhile, another user expressed, "They won't be scrutinized for this." As usual, the blame will be placed on Meghan for Harry mentioning it. Have to say, I find it odd that the people complaining about them speaking out about this are the same people saying it's a perfectly acceptable question. The royal scamily should be stripped of all their titles, and their homes should be used to house refugees. Not to mention, another user stated, "The king is extremely thick, approaching learning difficulties, with an unfortunate lack of social ability. Kate is an ignorant chav, so it's good that it's not one of the ones who should do better." And while the royal family hasn't said anything yet, it's only a matter of time before Prince Harry sits down and says something. Who knows what he'll do to get back at the alleged racists this time. That's all for today's video, guys. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. To catch us for more updates, you know what to do. Simply hit the bell icon.